Mr. Wars 96 here with another just video. I'm just going to be talking in this video about, just some random toys, really. The New York Comic-Con just happened, and they showed some awesome toys there. I'm really not going to be talking about everything that I found interesting. I'm just going to be talking about the Marvel stuff. There's just a few Marvel stuff that I found really, absolutely, fantastically exciting, so I want to talk about that, as well as some, the Winter Soldier was just released in Hong Kong, the Hot Toys version, so I'll just talk about that quickly and show you some of the pictures that have been taken of that. So starting off, we have our first look at the toys from Age of Ultron Avengers 2, which is incredibly exciting. As you can see, they didn't show too much here, but that's completely to be expected. We probably won't get a full look at the toys until the Toy Fair. I believe it's in New York as well, which is in February, I believe. That's when we'll get our really good look at it. But as you can see, you do get a small Quinjet here. This looks to be more in line for children. It does seem to have an opening cockpit. I really can't see any other features it might have, but it's a very interesting design. It looks like we're going to get a new style of color for a Quinjet in the new movie, so that's really cool. Or it's just, this is just the color of the toy, but I can totally believe this. This looks like it's a realistic type of a look, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually the color scheme of the new Quinjets in the movie. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. It looks pretty nice. Probably one that I'm going to skip. I mean, I don't know what it is in scale with. Unfortunately, it looks to be like it is in scale with the 2-inch figures, which would mean that they are probably going to do the same thing they did with Guardians of the Galaxy, which is skip a 3 3/4 inch line and go to the 2-inch figures that come in 2-packs that go along with vehicles. That's what it looks like. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like at the moment, which is incredibly disappointing because I really do like 3 3/4 inch figures, and the 2-inch figures are just horrible in my opinion, so it's a shame. I do love the 6-inch figures, don't get me wrong, but the 3 3/4 inch ones are the ones I have the most fun collecting because there's just a really wide range of characters that they come out with in those 3 3/4 inch figures, and they're pretty nice figures by themselves, so it is disappointing to see them kind of phasing out of 3 3/4 inch figures and adopting a 2-inch figure toy line instead. As you can see, we do have Captain America as well as the Hulk here. They are 6-inch figures from the Infinite series, I'm assuming. At first, Toy Arc was reporting these as most likely 3 3/4 inch figures, but it's basically been confirmed now that these are 6-inch figures. Overall, they look really cool. This looks like there's a lot of reused parts here. The head sculpt doesn't look new, and the body looks new. I mean, there's some new lines in there. The legs might be reused. The legs are probably reused, actually. The shield, I'm sure, is reused. It looks like a lot of reused parts. Assuming this wave does have a Build-A-Figure, I'll get it just really for the Build-A-Figure part, but I'm really not too interested in this figure, I have to say. It doesn't look like anything special, and I have a million 6-inch Captain Americas, so even if it was a completely new figure, there's just really nothing to it. And it looks like it has the same standard articulation that we are seeing in the Infinite series 6-inch figures, so nothing new articulation-wise, but yeah. The Hulk here, this looks like I'm not quite sure. I mean, this might have some new parts, but it does look like mostly a retool of the 6-inch one from the last Avengers movie. Obviously different paint. We got kind of like a lighter green. We've got a really big screaming face, which I really like. I'm very happy about that. The pants aren't shredded at the bottom, which is odd. I guess in this new movie, when he hulks out, they're not going to shred. They're just going to get really tight, which is interesting. I mean, that's the first time we've ever seen that for Hulk, which is weird, but I mean, maybe they're just not done. They haven't, sculpted on the end pieces. I don't know. It's very strange not to see the pants all shredded though, so I'm not quite sure what's up with that. It looks to be like the same figure though. I could be wrong, but I really just don't see anything different other than the head sculpt and the tearing of the pants. Other than that, it looks exactly the same with different paint and, different color pants. It looks like they're all kind of uniformed coloring, at least, with the red stripes, which we also saw in the Captain America figure, so that's interesting. But yeah, overall, it looks good, decent. I'll get it. This one, even if there isn't a Build-A-Figure, I'll still get it because this head sculpt looks just badass. But other than that, it doesn't look too impressive because it doesn't look like really anything's new, which is disappointing. But overall, nice to see that they are definitely doing the 6-inch line, and I hope it has a kick-ass Build-A-Figure and I am absolutely desperately hoping that it's a movie Build-A-Figure and not another comic Build-A-Figure, because the Groot Build-A-Figure for Guardians of the Galaxy was awesome. The Green Goblin and the Man-Droid for Captain America and Spider-Man were, you know, they were okay, but they weren't anything great because they were just, you know, random comic characters and not a movie villain, which was from the movie. So yeah, Marvel Infinite Series, we have 3 3/4-inch Marvel comic figures. As you can see, we do have this like Juggernaut Colossus, you know, matchup. I'm not quite sure what this character is all about, but originally he was shown to be in a 3-pack. It looks like possibly he will be just coming out as a single figure, which is kind of interesting. Doesn't look like anything too fantastic because mostly it's just a repaint, but overall it does look, you know, cool enough, or at least an interesting character enough to warrant a purchase. We get this, I'm not quite sure who this is. It looks like a version of Thor. Looks like he's got some good articulation. Really nothing too interesting for me, so I'll probably be passing on this one just because I really don't see anything too fantastic about it. I'm not quite sure if we'll get a better picture of her, but I'm not quite sure who she is. She looks like she's like the wife of Craven or something. She has a really interesting look, so I'll probably be picking her up, but she's not going to be a must-have either, but I'll probably end up getting her. This Beast looks a lot better than the previous pictures that we saw of it. It still doesn't look that great, though, I have to say, just because the fur there doesn't seem to be much texture in there, but at least articulation-wise, it looks like it's pretty up to par. We get another version of Spider-Man, really nothing I need. It looks, you know, just pretty standard Spider-Man. We've got a million of those, so nothing too great. The 6-inch Valkyrie is kind of neat. Again, nothing that I really, you know, want. I have the 3 3/4-inch version, and I really don't know anything about the character, so that's nothing too special. I'll get her only if she comes with a Build-A-Figure piece that I want. And then we have some interesting ones. Now, they are showing us the variant of Sandman. I'm not quite sure why the regular Sandman isn't there, considering they have shown him, you know, at the previous Comic-Con, or yeah, I think it was at San Diego Comic-Con they showed him. Overall, he's looking great. I will desperately try to get the variant, but I will definitely be getting the regular release as well. But if I can get the variant for a decent price, or at least just find him on retail, I will absolutely pick him up. And I'm very happy that they are doing Sandman, because I'm a big Sinister Six fan. Speaking of the Sinister Six, we've got some good things happening, but before we talk about them, as you can see, you get this guy. Don't remember his name. I guess he has like a sister or something in the same outfit style, and she came out in a different wave, and this guy was supposed to be the variant to her, but just never came out. I guess they'll just be releasing him, this character on his own in this new series, so it'll kind of be nice to get him, I guess, because I have the partner of his, so that's cool. Comes with a new Daredevil. This is a really weird looking Daredevil to me. It's not classic at all and just looks a little strange. I just don't know what it's from. Overall, I'll probably be passing because I'm not a huge Daredevil fan anyway, and this costume just doesn't look cool to me. I don't know. It looks like a modern but yet bland adaptation of Daredevil, if that makes any sense. It just doesn't look great to me. I'm sure it has some good articulation, but other than that, nothing too fantastic there. The real thing that there is to talk about, waiting to get a good picture. Come on, there we are. Well, there you go. We get Dr. Octopus. This is something I am ecstatic to get, because although Vulture you can do like a custom with, you know, Dr. Octopus, it's very hard to do a custom Dr. Octopus, considering there really isn't a head sculpt that looks like him, and you know, there isn't a body that looks like him, and you can't just like make the tentacles unless you're, you know, good with that stuff. You can't really like mix other figures' parts to make a custom Dr. Octopus. So this was just a character that I was completely at the mercy of Hasbro. Either they made it and I got it, or I just wasn't going to get it. So overall, very ecstatic that they are making him, considering he is not only a big Spider-Man fan, but he is the lead member of the Sinister Six. He looks great. It looks like the arms are from Kane. It looks like they're Kane's arms. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure they are. The legs are Absorbing Man's are Absorbing Man's legs. They're the same legs as Sandman too. They reuse those legs a lot. The body looks to be completely different. The head looks to be completely different, and obviously the tentacles are all different. The tentacles don't seem to have any points of articulation, which is going to make posing him a bit hard, because it'll kind of look like he's in the same position in every pose, considering the tentacle arms that are supposed to be moving a lot are always going to be in the same pose, which is a little disappointing, but nonetheless, I'll take what I can get, because I really just want him to complete the Sinister Six. Speaking of completing the Sinister Six, they have showed us our final member, Vulture. Now this was, you know, I'm very excited about as well. well. I did make a custom Vulture. You know, it's rather delicate, and I do really like the way it looks, but I have always wanted them to make a official version, which I'm very happy that they are doing at the moment. Figure-wise, it looks decent. I have some complaints, and first of all, head sculpt looks great, and the neck piece looks really nice. The body, it looks a little too kind of bulky for such an old man, but overall, I think that it looks decent. The arms look decent as well, and I like that the cut on the coloring there. It doesn't go like straight up to the wrist. It's down a bit, which I think is quite accurate to how he looks in the comics, so I'm very happy about that. As well as I do like the dark green colors. It looks really nice. I can't tell here. There might not be a thigh swivel, and I think a thigh swivel is necessary, especially with a flying character, but I can't tell. There might be one. It looks like there might be a line here, but I just really can't tell. So if there is a thigh swivel, I'll be happy. If there isn't, that's going to be quite disappointing. He does have pivoting ankles, which is quite nice, and overall the suit itself just looks a little plain. There's really not any texturing in there whatsoever, but overall still looks nice. The thing that I'm disappointed with, though, is that the wings are just reused like Falcon wings. They're wings that I just don't like. I think that the way that they connect is rather cheap. It doesn't connect very well, and when you have his arms down, they don't look good, and they don't look like good wings. I would have much preferred them to use the wings that came with Angel, but just put them on his arms, which is exactly what I did with my custom, which I think looks so much better because they're more feathery. And in the original comics, just to me at least, I picture him with more feather wings rather than like kind of robotic and just plain like these. So overall, I think that this is not the best Vulture. I think it's a little rushed. I like pieces of it for sure, but just overall, it does not look great to me, and I'm a bit disappointed. It looks like a very easy custom to do for just about anyone. So overall, wish that they could have spent a little more time and effort designing that one and coming up with a little bit better design. But overall, nonetheless, I am still ecstatic because, of course, I have Electro, Kraven, and Mysterio, so now getting Sandman that we were shown a couple months ago, but now seeing Vulture and Dr. Octopus completes the set, and I'm just ecstatic because I love the Sinister Six. I've loved them ever since I was a little kid. Plus, we've got a Sinister Six movie coming out, so hopefully that new movie, they will come out with 3 3/4-inch toys that are decent, even though the last couple Amazing Spider-Man movies have come out with kind of crappy 3 3/4-inch figures, but hopefully we get I would love to have a nice comic Sinister Six setup of 3 3/4-inch figures, and then right next to them have a nice movie setup of Sinister Six figures. That would be really great. But overall, so glad they are finally making these. Dr. Octopus and Vulture have been on a list of figures that I've wanted them to make for years now, and they finally are. So very happy, and give a little applause to Hasbro for finally making these characters. Like I said, Winter Soldier has been released in Hong Kong. He's looking pretty sick here, I have to say. OMG, their pictures, which I believe are the pictures I'm looking at right now. Yeah, they are, because you can see the OMG there. These aren't great pictures. They really didn't pose this guy too much. I've seen other pictures of him from other people that really have posed him and made him look really nice. They really didn't do too much with him, so that's kind of disappointing. But overall, the figure itself looks really great. Articulation level looks very nice, and overall just looks like a great figure. This figure was originally supposed to come out, I believe, either in January or like March, or maybe even February. So to get it in November, well, for the US, it's gonna be out here in November, so to get it in November is just absolutely fantastic, and something I completely wasn't expecting, because just like I can't remember when it was scheduled to come out, but I think maybe like January. I think it was scheduled to come out in January, and just like one day I checked, and all of a sudden the date to release was October, and I was like, whoa. And since then they have delayed it a month. It is now scheduled to come out in November, but still, that is incredibly early, and I'm so glad that we're able to get this figure so much earlier than first anticipated, so that's just great. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Marvel stuff shown at New York Comic Con, as well as my thoughts on the new Winter Soldier coming out. I didn't mention this, but it kind of speaks for itself. I am getting the Winter Soldier, so very excited to get him, and we'll be doing a review as soon as I get him in my hand. So there you go. Thanks so much, guys, and hope you enjoyed.